the straw that breaks the camel's back. They pick at you and they do that thing, and it shoots that energetic tether down there, and all of those memories light up at once. Memories are so important in our human existence. A lot of times, I don't think that people think about memories, about that they are being made in real time, and how we access them subconsciously to figure out how to navigate what we're doing right here in real time. And then to go a little bit deeper, our identity that is attached to those memories is super important as well. And that we can actually adjust what our identity is in real time when we're making a memory. And we can also be more intentional when we are making a memory for how it's going to be used in the future. Follow me on this. We have all of these energetic tethers in our brain. You can't see them, of course, but when you hear a certain word, you'll start thinking about a memory. Or when you hear a certain sound, you'll start accessing things in your brain that's associated with that. And those memories pop up. Or when you come up to do something that you're used to doing, that can still access memories. And it may not pull up the whole memory, but it can pull up your identity. It can pull up emotions, the feelings of when you've done it before, and the intentions of why it was being done. And this goes into when we want to make new behaviors and change the way we're doing things and put in a new identity. Basically, it's like, okay, I want to stop acting in the future the way I acted according to the past. What I mean by that, it's like whatever I do now for the next hour is dictated by everything that happened over the last 40 years of how my character reel is now. But then how do I detach of everything I want to do in the next hour is totally detached from what I did from the last 40 years, and it's all brand new. And then how do I make the recordings in the brain over the next hour associated with the brand new? That is a very, very good question. I developed the mental library where you actually go in and you purposely lay out the foundation for a new memory that you're going to make. This will actually disconnect from the old memories that bring up the emotions and the identity potentially. And you put in your intentions and you put in the character that you want. And it starts with the character trigger. You activate your character trigger, you go into your built out mental library, and then you start the groundwork for that memory. Now, this is just a brief overview. I teach all this in the course on Uncivilized Rebirth, school platform. But here, let me share with you how this worked with me in real time. Here's a little story time. In early 2024, I had made this little firework with my son. And he went to school and he said the word BOMB. Well, they called the police and everything went to crap. So, me, veteran, me, dangerous, they heard the word BOMB. They sent a squad to my house, like a task force. And over the next year, I was followed, I was harassed, and I was basically just followed everywhere by blue tags. Blacked out SUVs with blue tags, local law enforcement, everywhere I went. It was so annoying. It lasted over a year. It got to the point where I was getting so frustrated I wanted to just like scream at them because they would follow me when I picked up the kids at school. They would have a guy in plain clothes walk up to me and just stand behind me when I wasn't paying attention. I'd look around, he'd be there. But it was a local cop and I knew it. And it got so frustrating and I felt like I was about to snap. I was like, this is so frustrating. Like, they know I'm not a threat. I went to court and got my kids back. It was a nightmare basically. But I had to make it through without blowing up or crashing out, as the kids say. And so I came up with this method. I was like, all right, every day is a new day. And I'm going to specifically set up this memory to be disconnected from the other ones. And I'm going to change my intentions now. My intentions and my feelings are no longer, oh, they're following and harassing me. And I am getting frustrated by it because I'm not a threat. To, I change my intentions to, I am a detective and I am collecting information every day. And every time they repeat this behavior, it goes on a list of saying they did this again. And that basically added and compiled up to evidence that will support me. So I turned it from being me being harassed and stalked to I am watching y'all and I am getting evidence. And in doing that, it changed my perspective of feeling like I wanted to scream and yell because they acted like they weren't doing it. That was the part that was so frustrating at first because when they would sneak up on me and they would be standing there, I'd be like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And they're like, "Who are you? Who are you?" Like every time. And there's so much more to the story. But the point of it is, I was able to start separating memories out because check this out. When you are getting harassed by somebody, let's say it's at work or high school or college or wherever it is, or family members. This was for me also when I was younger. Somebody harasses you and picks at you until you blow up. And then when you blow up, they're like, oh, see, what's wrong with you? Blah, 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 and make fun of you. Then they're the winner and you're the loser. That's because they were creating this like stack of memories that are filed away in the same spot because it's like the same feeling is attached to them. That feeling of invalidation, of anger and frustration. So it's like, oh, how do we categorize this? Let's put them together. And then eventually, when you repress those emotions, you don't validate yourself and you don't actively deal with those memories being created, then eventually there's this one time that takes like the straw that breaks the camel's back. They pick at you and they do that thing and it shoots that energetic tether down there and all of those memories light up at once. That signals like, oh, we have to access all of these because this memory, this new memory has this feeling, and all of these have this exact same feeling. They're all activated, and then all of those feelings and each one of those single memories that you were able to repress are magnified like tenfold, and you can't hold it back in that moment and you blow up. And I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, I knew that was going to happen. So I went within and I figured out that I got to separate these and file them differently. Because if I do not do that, then I will blow up and it will make me look like I was just some unhinged veteran. So, in separating those memories and creating new intentions with the memories and using my character trigger to put the identity in there, every time I saw them from then on, I actually got excited and I felt validated. I was like, yes. I was like, more evidence, more evidence. Yes. Every time it just actually, they did not get the result they wanted. And I realized you can apply this in other areas of your life that are really frustrating. I used to live with somebody that would gaslight me. They would just do the most frustrating things that you could imagine all the time. And then in public, act like nothing was going on and acted like I was the aggressor and they were the victim. It's like narcissistic behavior where they just totally flip the script in public. And if you're going through that, it's so powerful to do these things. First off, in your mind, imagine a blank sheet of paper and then label it, this is a new memory, and I am collecting evidence of what's going on here. And I want them to do this because I want the evidence. Because they are not now, you're taking all that negative energy they're sending you and you want it. Because before you don't want it and you don't want to be validated. So you're just like, nah, shut up. I can't stand this anymore. And you're like, yes, I'm getting this information. You're recording it. And in real time, also, when they're doing stuff that's really hurts your feelings or that's really mean to you, that's designed to make you mad. The last episode, I talked about validating your emotions. Right in there, it's like, hey, it's okay to be mad at this. But now that you're wanting to happen because you're collecting that information, it's not a bother anymore. And you're putting in an identity in there of the one that you created. So you're no longer the victim. You're no longer just having to endure this. You're actually accepting and wanting, but yes, give me that. I want it. Instead of going into a room and cringing, you've been around those people that you just can't stand being around because of what they've done or what they do every time you're in there. And like literally, you get this mental block of going in a room with them or saying certain things because they are conditioning you. But when you're going in looking for it and wanting it, and you're choosing not to have a reaction and you're validating your emotions, you're filing these away in a different area in your mind with a different identity, with a different coding, and a different emotional signature. So now let's say you have all these over here where they had actually made you super mad and they had irritated you so much. The new memories will no longer be energetically connected to the old ones because they can't make you crash out by accessing that big binder of the crappy memories. Or not crappy memories, but they are energetically overloaded. And when they're all energized, basically you lash out or blow up. So you've just shifted where they're being stored to a new area. So those new memories with those new energetic signatures, you're just transmuting it all and you're putting in a new file folder. And I can teach how to do this. This is like an overview, but it's a new way to look at gaslighting and a new way to look at your memories because now you won't be operating from possibly lashing out from these memories all exploding at once. And then when you are actively using a character trigger and creating new memories, the next time in the future you're doing that thing again from the new character trigger you're using. So let's say from here back is where your old memories are, where you operated from. And then here's the new area where you're operating with your character trigger. You're only going to be accessing these energetically for your conduct out here. And when you're moving into the unknown, which is the next moment. So now you're shifting where you're pulling your instructions from in your memories. And you no longer operate out of um, having to worry about triggering these old memories that actually trigger old identities and trigger emotions and state of being. So now you're commanding where you're getting your memories from, where you're storing your memories, and with what intention and with what emotion. Does this take work? Yes, it takes work. Is it doable? Yes, it's very doable. You just have to sit down and go through and do the work. It takes creativity and it takes some brain power and focus. But when you start shifting into a new state of being and a new way of operating inside your brain, the whole world shifts. And people outside your world will start viewing you and treating you differently. And I'll say this because when you go down the path of character change, people are going to try to beat you back into the old character that you used to be. When they no longer have power over your character, they crash out. As reverse Uno card, now you have the power. So the same tactics that they used on you in the past to make you crash out were taught to them by somebody, and that made them crash out. So now when things switch, and this is where kindness comes into play. When things switch, now you could use those same tactics if you wanted to make them crash out because they don't know how to change their inner world and how things are energetically accessed with their memories. But this is where it takes grace because they don't know how they were programmed or why they were programmed or how to change their programming. So you have to look at them as a little child. This little child had a lot of bad things happen to him. And then, as monkey see, monkey do, they went out and did the same thing to make themselves feel powerful. And they didn't know it was wrong. They didn't know it was mean. Or maybe they did, but they just chose not to address that. So then that steps into the character you create. Are you going to be above board, or are you going to use your power for bad? That's very important to ask that question. And I have to ask that to myself sometimes. Like, okay, am I going to be careful with this newfound power, or I'm going to abuse it? I certainly hope I need to do the right thing, or not just need to do the right thing, but I need to hold myself accountable for doing the right thing. When you can reverse Uno card, but you hold it back and you just don't play it, then I think you give people room to start analyzing themselves and for them to start their healing journey and for them to start thinking, maybe I shouldn't do that anymore because I know they can do it now and they're not doing it. It's like when two people are competing and one person wins and gloats and makes them feel crappy, but then you compete against that person again and then you win, but you do it with a royalty about you where you're just nice and polite and you don't rub it in and you don't make fun of them. All right. I'm done for today. I hope this helped. Like and like and subscribe if you like this content. And please leave a comment below. Roadhouse, Spiritual Hard.